relate it to sports in general. You can practice your free throws and get the mechanics down, and the basketball is going to behave the same every time, and a horse might not. The fact that your equipment has a mind of its own, you have to be physically fit and ready to handle whatever the horse might do. So there's a lot of factors why fitness is important.
Early start, Radford get on the board first as Kyle.
I rode internationally all over this country, Egypt, Hungary. I was not the most talented rider, but I did work the hardest and it paid off. And I beat more talented or more experienced riders simply because when it was raining, I ran anyways or rode anyways. And when I was tired, I went and I lifted anyways. And I know they didn't. So I knew I could have the edge there.
Down.
So an unfit rider might not be ready for a change in direction or a momentum change, and if they fall out of position, the horse responds to pressure. So the horse will then respond to the signal that they got that the rider didn't even know they gave. So that could lead to a lot of miscommunication, misbehavior, which really wouldn't be the horse's fault, and injury, ultimately.
What happens with the unfit rider is they sit heavily in the saddle. So most of the sore backs that you see with riders that are not balanced and not using their position properly occur around the back part of the saddle. Sore backs in horses are a real thing. They happen with frightening regularity. They're difficult to treat. The horse can't rest his back. You can't tell him to lie in bed and take some muscle relaxants. He'll be right as rain. They're constantly moving. Even when we rest them, they use all their back muscles. So a sore back in itself can lead to disruption in the horse's performance.
Being fit doesn't just mean working out or running or being a certain size. It means feeding your body right too. So the nutrition is really almost more important than the fitness side of it. In college, when you get to a certain level and everyone wants to be good and everybody has a goal to get to nationals, so to speak, you have to do something more. And we bring riders through a series of drills to assess them. You know, about once a week, we might do no stirrups or a thing we call jockey position. And if you can't make it through that, you can't go to the next step. So from a judge's perspective, when they see riders walk in the ring as a group, they will immediately have a first impression. And what's interesting is a lot of times the nicest rider walking in starts to fall apart as the class goes on because they're tired. So an athlete is, like I keep saying, has discipline. So part of that is being better under pressure. So a weak, talented rider might walk in at the top of the class and then slowly go down the judge's list as she sees them get tired, lose form, not get along with their horse. And I've even read judges' cards that said something like, too bad, weak, or something like that, that she really wanted to use them at the top. She liked the way they looked, and it just didn't last.
Looking out for the welfare of your horse is really important. You know, not only winning, but the horsemanship part of it, you know, making sure that you're looking out for their health and their fitness as well as your own. And if you're not as fit as you should be, you shouldn't push your horse to do things that you're not able to do. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's the rider's fault, and I think that you just need to be aware of, you know, how you're feeling and then how your horse is feeling.
The fitness of the rider and the fitness of the horse are directly proportional to the enjoyment that a person has using their horse. I think that people don't spend enough time thinking about the relationship of the rider to the horse rather than they just expect the horse to behave in a certain manner. And it's wonderful when it works, but it's truly a different experience when both the horse and the rider work together.
I didn't ride unless the horses were bad and they needed me to, but I didn't want a horse show if I wasn't in shape. It wasn't fair. The horse needs to get shown off, and that doesn't look very good, and it's not very successful with an out-of-shape rider. So at the beginning of this year, I decided to bring back a little bit of the focus on myself so that I could help my students more. Last year, I could do that, but I couldn't talk at the same time, and I couldn't last as long, and wasn't as effective. So it has brought me back into the show ring successfully. I think I'm better for my students. I'm a better role model. I'm certainly healthier, much better for my family. So.